Hi everybody, hope you're okay and ready for the next part of our story of the BFG. So last time we read the story, Sophie was taken in the pocket of the BFG and he ran all the way to Dream Country and he's off hunting for dreams that he can catch and store in his glass bottles in his cave. Let's find out what happens. The big friendly giant put his suitcase onto the ground and he bent down low so that his enormous face was down now close to Sophie's. "From now on, we is keeping as still as winky little mices," he whispered. Okay, Sophie nodded and the misty vapour swirled around. It made her cheeks damp and left dewdrops of water in her hair. The BFG opened his suitcase and took out several empty glass jars, and he set them ready on the ground, with their screw tops removed. And then he stood up very straight. His head was now so high up in the swirling mist it kept disappearing into cloud and then appearing again. And he was holding the long net in his right hand. Sophie, staring up at him, saw through the mist that his colossal ears were beginning to swivel around his head. They began waving to and fro. Why do you think they're doing that? What's he listening for? Suddenly then, the BFG pounced. He leapt high into the air and swung that net through the mist. "Ha! Got him!" he cried. A jar! Quick, give me a jar!" Sophie picked up one of the jars and he handed it to the BFG, grabbed hold of it and lowered the net very carefully. He tipped something absolutely invisible into the jar. He dropped the net and swiftly clapped the lid onto the jar tight, screwed it up. Screwed it on real tight until it was closed, and then the BFG was very excited, held the jar up closely, looked at it and listened with his great big ears. "It's a wink squiffer," he whispered with a thrill in his voice. It's hold on, it's even better, it's a fizz wizard. It's a golden fizz wizard. Sophie just stared at him. Oh my, this dream will be giving some little toddler a very happy night when I is blowing it in. Okay, is that a really good dream? Sophie asked. A good one? It's a golden fizz wizard. It's not often I's getting one of these. And he handed the jar over to Sophie. "Please be as a starfish now. Still as a starfish. I was thinking there may be a whole swarm of these fizz wizards up here around today. So do kindly stop your breathing. You was terribly noisy down there, you know." "But I haven't moved a bit," Sophie said. "Well, don't," the BFG answered sharply. And once again he stood up tall, listening in the mist, holding his net at the ready. There was a long silence. Waiting. Listening. And then with a suddenness, whoosh, another great leap and a swish of the net. "Another jar! Quick! Quick!" And the second dream was put safely into the jar and the top screwed back down. The BFG held it up to his ear. Oh no, mince my maggots, oh swipe my swoggles!" "What is the matter?" Sophie asked. It's a troggle humper." His voice was filled with fury and anguish. "Save our solos!" he cried. "Deliver us from weasels! The devil is dancing in my dibbler." Do you think it's a good dream or a bad dream? There's a great picture here of the BFG with his net. Look, listening for dreams to catch. And just down at the bottom you can see Sophie waiting with the glass jars. But he's found a troggle humper. What are you talking about? Sophie said. And the BFG was getting more and more distressed every moment. Oh, bash my eye bones! I come all this way to get lovely golden dreams, and this here is what I's catching. What are you catching? Sophie said. I's catching a frightsome troggle humper. This is a bad, bad dream. Worse than a bad dream. This is a nightmare. Oh dear, Sophie said. What will you do with it? I's never letting it go, the BFG cried. If I do, some poor little toddler be having a real most blood-curdling time. This one's a real kicksy bog thumper. I is exploding it as soon as I get home. Oh, nightmares are horrible, Sophie said. I had one once. I woke up sweating all over. With this one here, you'd be waking up screaming all over, the BFG said. This one, make your teeth stand on end, it would. If this one got into you, your blood would be freezing in your bones and your skin would go creeping across the floor. Really, as bad as that? It's worse. This is a real wopsy grob switcher, this is. But you said it was a troggle humper, Sophie said. It is a troggle humper, but it's also a bog thumper and a grob switcher. It's all three things riddled into one. Oh, I is so glad I is clutching onto it tight. Oh, you wicked little beastie, he cried, holding up the jar, staring into it. Never more is you going to be bunk-doodling the poor little human beanie toddlers. And Sophie, who was also staring into this glass jar, cried out, oh, I can see it. There's something moving in there. Of course there's something in there, the BFG said. You's looking at a frightsome troggle humper. But I thought you told me dreams are invisible, Sophie said. They's always invisible till they's captured, the BFG said. After that, they's a losing just a little bit of their invisibility. We is seeing this one very clearly. And inside the jar, Sophie could see a faint scarlet red outline of something that looked like a mixture between a blob of gas and a bubble of jelly. It was moving, violently thrashing around against the sides of the jar, forever changing its shape, wiggling all over the place. It's fighting to get out, cried Sophie. It's going to bash itself to bits. And there she is, look. Sophie staring into this glass jar where the horrible nightmare is whooshing about. Well, the nastier the dream, the angrier it is getting when it's in a prison, the BFG said. It's the same with a wild animal. If an animal is very fierce and you was putting it in a cage, it will make a tremendous rumpeldumpus. If it is a nice little animal like a cockatoodaloo or a frogglefrump, it'll just sit there nice and quietly. Dreams is exactly the same, you know. This one is a nasty, fierce, bog-trotting nightmare of a dream. Just look at him splashing himself against the glass. It is quite frightening, Sophie cried. Oh, I'd be hating to get this one inside me on a darksome night, the BFG said. So would I, Sophie answered. And the BFG started putting his bottles back into the suitcase. Is that all? Are we going? Are you done? Oh, I'm so upset by this troggle-humping, bog-thumping grob-switcher. I's not wishing to go on, the BFG said. Dream catching is finished for today. And soon, Sophie was back in the waistcoat pocket of the BFG, and they were racing home as fast as he could go. When at last they emerged out of the mist and came onto the hot yellow wasteland, all of the other giants were sprawled out on the ground, fast asleep. Next time you'll hear what they do to these giants who are sleeping. Have you got any ideas? Have a think what they could do to these nasty giants who are sleeping on the ground in giant country. Think about what they've got in their suitcase. Right, we'll find out later. I gotta go. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.